Afternoon, everybody. Or should I say, okay, let's start that over. Afternoon, comrades. It's Crackshot47 here. Today we're going to do that video I talked about in that small video I made a few days ago. We're going to be testing Cold War pistols, specifically the M57 Tokarev versus the CZ82, which is standing in for the Makarov, just Makarov chambered pistol. And we're going to test these in three ways. First is going to be penetration. Second is going to be handling characteristics and features of both pistols. And the third one is going to be concealability and carryability for both of these pistols. After that, we're going to do a really quick comparison of the CZ82 9x18 Makarov versus the Sig P226 MK25 in 9mm Parabellum. First up, we're going to test the M57 Tokarev. Like I said before, this is a 1963 manufactured Tokarev. It is clear and safe right now. We're going to load up one round and we're going to get shooting. In downrange, we're going to have some phone books down there, and we're going to test the penetration of each of these two pistols first before we get into the 9mm. So let's get cracking. Alright guys, I had to ditch the hat. Way too hot out here for that. It's probably pushing 90, 92 degrees. Okay, so this is the target we're going to be shooting. So we got approximately 7 phone books of varying width. So we kind of had to put it on here because we don't have our table today. We destroyed it last week sometime. So yeah, having a lot of fun, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to shoot this, and we're going to test the penetration for the M57 Tokarev as well as the CZ82. We'll start with the 7.62 by 25mm M57 Tokarev. Alright guys, we're going to shoot from approximately 15 feet away with 85 grain PPU. I believe it's, it's 85 grain PPU. Full metal jacket. Now before I get started, the Makarov is going to be a hollow point because unfortunately I wasn't able to procure full metal jacket for it. Like I said, this isn't a scientific test, it's just kind of a general approximation. So without further ado, let's get started. The M57, one round. Let's see the damage. Okay, so right here. So we actually missed these first 2 large phone books, but we penetrated the third one. Bad aim on my part. Yeah, crack shot, you know. Okay, looks like it got caught back here. Maybe. Maybe. We're gonna have to take it off and look. Yep, actually. Maybe not. Let me see if I can tear it apart. I want to so bad. Okay. Oh, shit. Let's see if I found that. Get off me, little bastard. Okay, let's just take this off and look at it. This is a little bit. All right, so we found the channel here. Okay, so all right. See how far it went through, man. This thing. Okay. Actually, yeah, it penetrated this phone book here and must have got stuck in the last phone book. Yes, there it is. Oh, lost it. Alright guys, bear with me here. Tell you what. Got stuck. Up. It's not coming out, but so it's stuck in here somewhere. I'm not going to dig through it to pull it out, but you guys saw it on the film. Made it through this last phone book about halfway through. But we're going to try this again. Actually, I'm going to try to get this one out of here so we can have a clean test. And I'm going to shoot this one more time because we missed the first 2 phone books. And we'll catch up with you in a second. Alright guys, you guys saw it on the camera, we definitely penetrated. You saw the bullet. But we ended up dropping in the grass and we can't really find it, so we're not going to worry about it. But the important thing is it's not in the stack of phone books. So we're going to put another round in there and we're going to see if we can penetrate those first 2 as well as the rest of those phone books. Because it didn't go through 5 of the phone books, it went through about 4.5 of them, I'm pretty sure that it's not going to penetrate the entire stack, but we're going to, just for testing purposes, we're just going to see. So without further ado, load one up here. See you guys downrange. Alright guys, let's try this again with the M57 Tokarev and 7.62 by 25mm Tokarev. Alright, let's see how well we did. Alright, good, we got it. Ooh, a little wobbly there. Okay, so we went through that one. We actually missed the second phone book. We just barely nicked the second book. Went through the third one. And let's see, okay, it looks like we actually penetrated quite a bit. Okay, let's see. That's the old, actually, you know what? I don't think we penetrated. I think it got caught in this, must have got caught in the middle here somewhere. Yeah, I can see that down here there's, okay. We're going to take this back to the table. We're going to have a closer look to see how well it penetrated. Alright guys, so we penetrated all these phone books. It hit on the edge of the second one, but I'm not going to ding it for that. So we'll say it went through 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it got caught in the 6th phone book. So very similar to what it was before, because it got caught in the 7th one without missing the first 2. So actually maybe slightly better performance. Probably because it missed that first one, or that second one rather, mostly. So that's the brass, or that's the round rather. Pretty badly deformed, damn. But yeah, so it got caught in the middle of the 6th phone book. Pretty good performance out of the M57 Tokarev. Now we're going to see how well that stacks up against the 9mm Makarov, and in the arena of penetration, let's see if the Soviets fucked up. Alright guys, we got a 95 grain projectile, same deal, housed in PPU brass. So, see how well it does. Now, like I said, it's a hollow point, but it's not very scientific. We're just getting a general approximation of how well the round does compared to the 7.62 by 25. So without further ado, first shot out of this pistol, by the way, since I bought it. Let's give it a shot. Alright, go down there and see how it looks. Okay, so right there, damn near center. So we hit it right there. It, set this down for a second. Penetrated through that first one, I'm sure. Oh yeah, went through the second book. Actually, got caught in the second book. I don't know whether or not, I don't know whether that's because it's a hollow point or it's just the nature of the round. I mean, it's not much more powerful than, you know, a 9 by 17 and a 380. Well,
let's see how much it mushroomed.
Yeah, let's take it back to the table and take a look at it. We'll see how this round looks compared to how it looked in the Tokarev.
Yeah.
Alright guys, take this off here. As you can see, bear with me for 1 second here. As you can see, went through the first book, went into the second book, and there's the bullet. Let's see what page, let's see where that's at. Okay, there's the bullet. So it made it through 1.5 phone books. Keep in mind though, the first phone book there is actually, yeah, the first phone book's a pretty thick one. So
it's still pretty hot.
Yes. That expanded quite a bit. As I said, that's a hollow point. So it may have been better testing with a full metal jacket round, but honestly, I don't think it would have been. It would have done that much better. Probably, maybe would have gone into the third phone book. I think it's pretty safe to say that in the realm of penetration, the 7.62 by 25mm round wins out, and perhaps just in that category, the Soviets did fuck up. Just saying. All right, so we tested that. We're going to do a similar penetration test between the Makarov and the 9mm, excuse me. But first, we're going to take a look at both these pistols, and we're going to talk about handling and characteristics. So let's get on to that. So we'll start off with the 7.62 by 25mm Tokarev. All right, guys. So 7.62 by 25mm Tokarev. I'll show you how it takes down. Just takes down pretty much just like a 1911. So remove the magazine, then hold this back here. Actually, I'll just cock the hammer. You hold it back, and you kind of pull this back, actually. Pull this one back first. Okay, just hinge back on it a little bit. It's not like the 1911 where you have to have it in a certain spot. You just have to kind of line it up with the hole. Slide pulls right off. As you can see, it's very, very similar to a 1911. It's got that drop link system in there, Browning tilt. So Browning tilt barrel action, then you have a captive recoil spring. Now this is a little bit different. This recoil spring is a tad bit different than many of you who own Tokarevs might be used to. Most Tokarevs don't have a captive spring, but the Yugoslavian Tokarev specifically came with a captive spring to aid in reliability when it came to putting the gun back together after maintenance or cleaning, as we all know. So essentially, I'll show you how the barrel comes out really quickly, actually, too, so there's no confusion. It's very similar to a 1911 again. It's got a barrel bushing, but instead of turning it to the point where you turn it on a 1911, you actually have to turn it to the 12 o'clock position. It comes right off, and barrel comes right out the front. You push that bushing back down, you get this back on the 20. So you get this back on the 12 o'clock position here. Line it back up. And then you get your recoil spring. Keep in mind, right there, that little crevice that's cut into there, that marries to the barrel. So, a little bit tricky sometimes to get this in here. You got to make sure it's lined up perfectly. However, a lot easier than with a spring that's non-captive. So, basically, drop link stays up because that's the hole that this captive pin goes through, or this non-captive pin goes through. So basically this acts as your slide release as well, and slide stop. So play around with that, get it angled up, push it through, push this back, you're back in business again. So in terms of handling and characteristics, it's pretty much like a 1911, feels like a 1911. And a lot like a 1903 as well. I mean, you can tell by the way the gun looks. It looks a lot like a Colt 1903 in its appearance, but in function, it's a lot more like a 1911. So it's kind of a marriage between both styles of pistol, which they're really not that dissimilar from one another. The original Tokarev never really had a safety on it, not an external safety anyway, but had a half-cock feature. So the gun can be safely carried on half-cock. And you can cock it, it's a single action design, so you have to cock the fire on the first shot. However, in order to import these pistols, as I kind of alluded to in my previous video, there's a requirement for this particular handgun to have a external safety. So in order to avoid having to put one of those gaudy safeties on, those gaudy external safeties like the 1911 style safety, the frame mounted safety like a Beretta, they opted for a Glock style safety. Now this is a feature of newer Tokarev imports from Yugoslavia. So if you buy a brand new import from, it's not brand new but it's surplus, but if you buy the most recent imports from Zastava Arms to say Century Arms, they're going to have this feature included. So it's actually a really nice feature, especially for collectors, like I said, because it gives the gun a very authentic feel and a very authentic look. All right. So in terms of handling, like I said, 1911-esque. The gun's fairly ergonomic. It's surprisingly comfortable to hold, even though it looks fairly crude by Western standards and by modern standards. The slide, fairly fluid. The gun has a little bit of play, but I mean it's an older gun, it's a surplus gun. The trigger on this gun is excellent, despite the introduction of that safety, which looks fairly uncomfortable. It's a piece of metal poking out of the trigger, but it's actually fairly comfortable. And it's easy to wrap your hand around. Grip is very comfortable. Like I said, very ergonomic from a holistic perspective. Just a fantastic firearm. So now we're going to get into the CZ82 and talk about the handling and characteristics of that firearm. Okay. Alright guys, as for the handling and characteristics of the CZ82, handles pretty much like any Makarov pistol except with enhanced ergonomics. This gun is extremely comfortable to shoot. Not much in the way of stippling in the front or rear of the grip. Actually, there's none, but you do have a fair amount of stippling on the side, so it provides for a pretty good grip. And honestly, the contour of the pistol, or the contour of the grip on these guns, it's just fantastic. And because of the size and heft of the grip, it's really easy to just wrap your hand around there and gives you really good access to the trigger. So if I had to compare it to anything, I'd pretty much compare it to your standard Makarov, essentially, except just a little bit better. So both guns, fairly good in the ergonomics department. However, there are a lot of key features that this gun has that the Tokarev just doesn't. The gun does have a safety, as I stated before, but you have to pull the hammer back and actuate it like a 1911. So, it has a cock and lock style safety, and the slide release is only available on one side of the pistol. However, you do have magazine releases on both sides of the pistol, making this gun completely ambidextrous in that regard. Alright. The last feature that I did fail to mention on that last video is this, though. This gun is one of the first military style pistols to incorporate polygonal rifle, just like a Glock, essentially. And it really contributes to the accuracy of this pistol. And because this is a straight blowback design, it's inherently accurate by nature. Unlike this, I mean, this is a very accurate pistol, just like the 1911 is very accurate, but you're going to get more accuracy out of a fixed barrel. And because of that polygonal rifling, which the Tokarev lacks, it has traditional lands and grooves, this gun's going to be probably a hair more accurate. So, it's really difficult for me to say which one I like better when it comes to handling and shooting. And the characteristics, I'd have to say the CZ82 is bigger on features. So, in terms of modern features, I mean, ergonomics pretty much the same, shootability pretty much the same, but in terms of ergonomics, the CZ82 just kicks the shit out of the M57 Tokarev. So we'll get into that third category here. So the third category is carryability, and I think the CZ82, without having to show you, I'm pretty sure you can see that the CZ82 is a lot more carryable than the. It's just a better all-around carry gun. Whether for but it's subjective as well, because it depends on how you carry these guns. So if you were to carry this gun, for instance, it excels as a concealed carry weapon. I mean, you can pocket carry this. You can carry it in the waistband fairly easily, and it also it's a good pistol as a duty gun, mainly because also it carries 12 rounds in the magazine. But keep in mind, we're talking about just your standard fare Makarov, not just the CZ82. So that also has 8 rounds, just like the Tokarev. This one has 9, but again, we're talking about just generically Tokarevs. So coupled with the ammunition and the fact that, you know, coupled with the ammunition and the role of like duty, for instance, duty carry, I would have to say the Tokarev is probably a better option in terms of knockdown power and duty carryability. With just those two together. But that said, I mean, this gun fills pretty much every role, and I think it beats the Tokarev in pretty much everything except power. So if you're looking for something compact, if you're looking for something that's easy to carry, that's concealable, especially in places where especially if you're in places where you don't want to be seen carrying a firearm, I think this is probably was a better choice of the Soviet Union. But in terms of raw knockdown power, I mean, as a combat cartridge, I mean, the 7.62x25, it just wins out. So I mean, there are good points about each gun, and I can see why the Soviets adopted the Makarov pistol. It's a toss-up, really. I don't think the Soviets fucked up necessarily. Maybe in some ways. But you're free to have your opinions. I'm free to have mine. Personally, I do like the Makarov. I joke around. I say it's an anemic cartridge, but this is the gun I carry every day. This gun and my P64. So I mean, I obviously think this is a cartridge suitable for self-defense. So I mean, it all depends on personal preference. But if I had to say, did the Soviets fuck up? Not necessarily. But then again, depends on what you mean by fuck up. So, without further ado, I know I said that a lot in this video, we're going to move on to the Mark 25 versus the CZ82. Now we've already shot the CZ82, we already kind of saw where that penetrated. I don't think it's going to penetrate much past the second phone book. It's probably just going to be a 1.5 phone books like before. So we're just going to shoot the P226 Mark 25 and see how well that stacks up. Alright, I think we got it. See how well a 9mm Parabellum did. See where we hit. Right up here. There we go. Yeah, pistol's accurate. Alright guys, looks like we hit kind of close to where we were intending to hit. And just dropped my glasses. But we're going to take this back to the table and we're going to see how far that round penetrated. Let's see if we did better than the 9x18 Makarov. Alrighty. So I'll set this pistol down and we shall take a look. Let's take a look. Ooh, sticking. Just bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get some of this tape off. Alrighty. Let's take a look. There we are. There we go. Okay, so penetrated the first book. Yep. Was almost looking in the wrong place there. Alright, so alright, looks like we kept going. Ooh, yeah, it's stuck in there. It might be stuck in there, I'm not sure. It's balled up like it might be. Maybe not. I think we're getting closer though. Up there it is. Pop through. Shit, I should have looked at the back. We might have gone all the up. There it is. Alright, so we're about right there. So let's see how far we went in. Almost. Actually, did we? Oh, we did. We actually penetrated the next book. So we got all the way to, let's see. 1 there, 2, 3, 4. So we penetrated 4 phone books and into the 5th. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So, yeah. Penetrated into the 5th phone book. It was resting pretty much crunkled up between the 4th and the 5th, but it did go through the 5th book. And left a hell of a lot of power going through there. Alright guys, so based on this testing, it would seem obviously the 7.62x25 Tokarev beat out the 9mm Parabellum and the 9x18 Makarov, but it looks like the 9mm Parabellum is quite a bit more powerful than the 9x18 Makarov. So, shit, I don't know what to tell you, but it looks like damn, looks like the Soviets done fucked up. At least in that regard. So, let's take a look at the Sig P226 Mark 25 because I feel like showing off one of my favorite pistols. And yeah, let's take a look at it. See what kind of features this gun has that may be similar or better than the CZ82. I know better is subjective, but let's take a look anyway. So, that's the coolest thing on this pistol, this little anchor. Just badass, right? Check that out, U.S. Navy, there we go. Now this is the pistol for Naval Special Warfare. Was used by the Navy SEALs. I think it's still used, but it's being phased out with the Glock 19, so that's kind of unfortunate, but you know, I'm kind of sentimental in that regard. Now when I was in the service, I carried the M9 whenever I had to carry anything, so I never really got to carry a 226, especially Mark 25, but This is one of the first guns I bought as a civilian, and at least one of the first pistols I bought as a civilian, and honestly, excellent gun. Here, let's take a look at this gun here. I'll show you how to take it apart. And it's pretty simple. It's basically just, it's not too dissimilar from an M9. So, let me get the magazine back in there. So, drop the magazine out, you turn that, and then comes right off the slide. Now this is a non-captive spring. That's something the Tokarev actually has a benefit on, but it's a very similar system. If you look at the lockup system here, it doesn't have that drop link system necessarily. It's in the same, well, it's not the same as the Tokarev's, but it's generally the same idea. It's a Browning tilt operation. So not dissimilar from the Tokarev or 1911 really. So get that back on there, and yeah, the barrel comes out a little bit differently though. I'll show you that. I'm pretty sure you guys know how to take down a 226, but essentially the barrel comes out the opposite way. Very, very similar to more conventional designs like a Beretta. So, like I said, it's a little bit more of a pain in the ass if it's not captive, but not too much so. So just line it up, get nice deep rails in there to make sure you get it on the gun, and cock that back. You can hold it or you can reinsert the magazine. I prefer to hold it. And drop that in. There it is. Gun's back together. So this gun has a nitride finish. It's anti-corrosive. It protects it against seawater. I mean, it's a really, really high quality pistol. These probably go between $900 in the used market to about $1,200. Fantastic guns. A great callback to history. You know, if you like the 1980s, the competition between the Beretta and the Sig, and the Beretta's adoption by the U.S. military, and then this gun's adoption by the Navy SEALs and the Special Warfare Group. Just a fantastic gun, a lot of history, and very interesting. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming out and shooting with me, and I know we never really made a definitive statement whether or not the Soviets fucked up or not, but take what you will from this test, and I hope you guys have some more, well, suggestions you can put down below. Like, subscribe, and hit that little bell if you want to see more videos. That's all I got for you guys today, and unfortunately, the day after tomorrow I'm leaving for China. So, well, not necessarily unfortunately, but I won't be able to make shooting content, at least until next July. But don't worry, we got some interesting stuff for you coming down the pipe. When I go to China, I'm going to try to take some videos while I'm at museums, try to document some historical firearms and talk about them. Accessories. So, like I said, accessories are kind of big in China with airsoft and even scopes you can put on rifles. Scopes, grips, red dots, fake ACOG scopes. I know you guys have seen those fake ACOG, those Chinese knockoffs. Those are huge in China, even though nobody really shoots over there, you know, go figure. But I'm going to document some of that stuff. I'm going to go take you guys to some historical places in China. We can check that out. Maybe some battlefields too. That might be interesting. And also, my cameraman's going to be shooting some footage. He's going to be shooting some shooting footage while I'm gone. So, you guys who like to watch me shoot, you guys will have to suffice watching my cameraman shoot for a little while. And
thumbs up from the camera guy.
And that's it. Yeah, I'm going to miss you guys, and you know, the few of you who've subscribed yet. Hopefully, it's more. And like I said, it's all I have. And Crackshot 47 out. See you next year. Well, see you here next year.